We all thought we knew Draco Malfoy, the arrogant Slytherin, the spoiled rich kid, the bully who sneered at Muggleborns, insulted Hermione, and seemed to exist just to make Harry's life miserable. But that version of Draco, the one we saw in Year 1, is only a tiny part of the truth. Hidden beneath the surface, behind every smug smirk and taunting insult, was a boy unraveling. A child raised in a house full of dark magic, dangerous legacies, and unbearable expectations. A boy whose entire life was planned for him before he could even speak. What if I told you, the real story of Draco Malfoy is not one of cruelty but of survival? These are the top 5 unknown secrets about Draco Malfoy, all found in the books, completely canon and more tragic than anyone ever talks about. Secret number 1. Draco Malfoy was assigned to murder Dumbledore, and it almost killed him instead. In Half-Blood Prince, Draco Malfoy receives a mission that no teenager should ever be burdened with: assassinate Albus Dumbledore. Voldemort didn't do this because he trusted Draco. He did it to punish the Malfoys for Lucius's failures. This was a trap, a mission designed to fail. A cruel message to Narcissa and Lucius. Your child is expendable. Draco spends the entire year trying to find a way to complete the mission without actually doing it. He fixes the vanishing cabinet, not because it's a clever plan, but because it's the only way he can bring someone else in to do the killing for him. He avoids his friends. He's pale, gaunt, paranoid. He stops laughing, stops talking. And on the astronomy tower, when he finally has Dumbledore disarmed and defenseless, wand raised and heart pounding, he can't do it. He's crying, trembling, and despite everything he's been through, despite the pressure from Voldemort himself, he doesn't kill. It's a moment that rewrites Draco's entire story. He was never a killer. He was just a terrified kid thrown into a war. Secret number 2. Draco was slowly breaking down mentally, and the books prove it. The movies made Draco look annoyed, stressed, maybe a bit angry. But in the books, Draco is breaking apart. You can track his decline like a slow fall off a cliff. He becomes obsessed with the vanishing cabinet. He refuses help. He spends hours crying alone in bathrooms. He's constantly on edge, snapping at everyone, even his own family. In chapter 27 of Half-Blood Prince, right before the tower scene, Draco says something deeply disturbing. You don't know what I've done. You don't know what I've seen. They'll kill me if I don't. And for the first time, Harry sees it. Draco isn't just a rival anymore, he's haunted. This isn't the prideful boy from Year 1. This is someone who's seen people tortured in his home, someone who's been threatened by Voldemort face to face, someone who has no escape. And no one notices, not Snape, not the professors, not even the Ministry. Everyone sees Draco's silence and paranoia as arrogance. But in truth, he's crumbling right in front of them. Secret number 3, Draco was the true master of the Elder Wand long before Harry. This one blows minds, and it's absolutely canon. When Draco disarms Dumbledore in Half-Blood Prince, the Elder Wand's loyalty changes. Not to Snape, not to Voldemort, but to Draco. The wand, bound by ancient magical law, switches its allegiance based on power, not intention. And for a brief period of time, the most powerful wand in existence belongs to Draco Malfoy. Here's the twist: Draco never knows. He never uses it, never even touches the wand. And yet he holds the fate of the wizarding world in his hands without even realizing it. Months later, when Harry disarms Draco at Malfoy Manor, not with a wand, but physically wresting his wand away, the Elder Wand feels the shift. That's why Harry could use the Elder Wand in the final battle, not because he was chosen, but because Draco had unintentionally become its master, and Harry unknowingly took that title from him. Think about the irony. Draco Malfoy, the boy who spent his whole life chasing power, became master of the most powerful wand in history, and never even knew. That's not just a secret, that's a tragedy. Secret number 4. Draco's home became a torture chamber, and he had no way out. When Voldemort takes over the Ministry in Deathly Hallows, Malfoy Manor becomes one of the darkest places in the wizarding world. It's not a home anymore, it's a prison. And Draco lives there day and night, while people are murdered in his living room. When the Order is captured, Draco is forced to stand there as Bellatrix tortures Hermione. What does he do? He looks away. When asked to identify Harry, he hesitates. He lies, he says he isn't sure. And for a boy raised to hate Muggleborns, raised to fear Harry Potter, that is one of the most dangerous, rebellious things he ever does. He's not shouting, not running. But Draco is resisting, quietly, desperately, living in a house where saying the wrong word means someone else screams. That's not cowardice, that's survival. And it's one of the darkest, most overlooked truths about Draco Malfoy. He was a prisoner too. Secret number 5 extended. Draco never truly believed in blood purity, and the way he raised his son proves it. Draco Malfoy was born into a system of belief that worshipped blood. From the moment he could walk, he was taught that his last name made him superior, that Muggle-borns were less, that pure magic ran deeper in his veins. And he didn't question it. Why would he? His father was powerful. His mother came from the sacred House of Black. Their friends sat on the Wizengamot. These weren't opinions, they were gospel. But here's what's fascinating. Draco never took those beliefs to their violent end. Yes, he repeated them. Yes, he said cruel things, and especially to Hermione. But when Voldemort rose to power and gave Draco the chance to act on those beliefs, something changed. He froze because deep down he never actually believed it. When real bloodshed began, when Muggle-borns were hunted, when half-bloods were tortured, when purity meant death, Draco stepped back. He didn't fight for the cause. Didn't lead raids, didn't even show up. When Harry and his friends were dragged into Malfoy Manor, dirty, wounded, bleeding, Draco didn't celebrate. He hesitated, he could have exposed them. Instead, he muttered, "I can't be sure." That wasn't confusion, that was conscience. Draco wasn't protecting Harry. He was protecting what was left of himself. But here's where it becomes undeniable, the way Draco raised his son, Scorpius Malfoy. Because you can lie with your words, but you can't lie with your parenting. And Draco, he raised Scorpius to be everything he wasn't. Kind open, curious. A boy who doesn't care about blood status, who wants to understand the world, not control it. In The Cursed Child, Scorpius befriends Albus Potter, not because Draco told him to, but because he was never taught to hate. And when Draco sees that friendship blossom, he doesn't flinch. He supports it. Imagine that. The son of Lucius Malfoy, cheering for a Malfoy-Potter alliance. And there's this one line that breaks everything open. In The Cursed Child, Draco says to Harry, "Love blinded you. That's what love does, I see it now." That's it. That's the arc. That's a man who was raised to hate, who once bowed to a Dark Lord, now standing in front of his childhood rival, admitting that love was the answer all along. That's not just character growth. That's quiet redemption, the kind that doesn't beg for applause, the kind that shows up in who you become when the war is over. Draco never made a grand speech. He never joined the Order, never publicly rejected his father's beliefs. But he changed where it mattered most, at home, in private with his son. He broke the curse that was passed down for generations, not by fighting a war, but by choosing not to raise another soldier. And maybe that's the most powerful kind of transformation, because anyone can change when the world's watching, but it takes real courage to change when no one's looking.